What's going on, YouTube? Back at it again with another video on the KX250. Recording all this from my phone, I have to remember when I'm switching the camera, it cuts the audio out. So I'll try to make sure I'm not speaking when I go to flip the camera around. Mounting setup, got a little bit of an upgrade. Instead of holding it by my phone or by my hand, just got a little magnetic mount, mounting it to this little camping light, because that's all that I got right now. But I want to give you guys a quick update. Water pump still not leaking. She's holding up good. I put a rag under there last night, and of course I got my carpet, but no leaks. She's bone dry, which makes me feel good. I always recommend replacing O-rings, gaskets, those types of things, which I didn't, but it worked out in my favor. So couple of quick little goodies that I picked up today that I'm excited to show you guys. Not that direction. Got ourselves some new levers to put onto the bike. Flo Motorsports. Again, not sponsored. All these upgrades, not sponsored by anybody. I just go with the brands and the styles that I like and what's available. And we supply Flo Motorsports parts at the dealership that I work at. So that works out great. And we had a set of these in stock. And I was like, why not? That's an easy upgrade to do in like 15 minutes with the short amount of time that I've got. So just wanted to go over a quick install video on these guys. Very, very simple to do. Probably one of the easiest aftermarket upgrades that you could do for your bike as far as aesthetics go. Obviously not going to add anything as far as power, but when your bike looks bling, we all know that that adds way more horsepower, especially when you're out at the track. These particular ones, these are the Pro 160 levers, super cool. They've got a lifetime warranty on them, keep that in mind, and they're bendable. So not only do they bend and flex at the pivot, just like most of your stock levers are going to do a little bit, these bend all the way, so they are an unbreakable lever, but they also rotate, and I can't really do it in here, but they rotate down around the shaft, which is nice. So if you're prone to tipping over on the side, don't got to worry about these guys because they will flex up on you and prevent you from breaking them. But all the internal components are covered by a warranty, which is awesome. Hopefully I'll never have to use the warranty, but if I do, I will definitely keep you guys updated. I've dealt with some warranty companies in the past with hard parts like this, and they're usually pretty easy to deal with, especially when they offer a lifetime warranty. They usually stand behind their product. So unless you obviously crash the thing or were in some sort of a fire accident, I'm sure there's some limitations there, but we're going to try them out. Plus they come in black. Super trick. The front brake lever is a shorty, which is super cool. I've never ran shorties before. Obviously you've got a little bit of a shorty on the stock bike, so it's a little bit smaller. Actually, I think, yep, it's an identical match to the stock lever. So that's pretty cool. I think the clutch lever they make in a shorty as well. Could be mistaken. Somebody out there in the comments might know. But yeah, these are legit just a direct bolt-on. So I figured I'd walk you through the process here of how to do all that. And pretty simple. So first thing you're going to do is remove your boot cover. You've got a 10 mil bolt here with a little nut right underneath. You're literally just going to zip this guy off and install the new lever. I'll have to see if they provide any kind of a collar inside of there. That's probably the biggest mistakes that I see sport bike riders, even some dirt bike riders make, is you go on Amazon and you buy some cheap levers because they're cheap, they're readily available. Everybody's like, yeah, I can have these tomorrow, and they're just cheap Chinese, CNC machined, cheap anodized coatings on them that just fade after a couple of weeks being out in the sun. And they don't come with any kind of collar that sits around the pivot joint. And so what ends up happening is you wear this out, or you wear the bolt out. Usually it's the inside here, because this material is usually like aluminum. Your bolt that goes in is steel, and you just end up wearing this out, and it creates a lot of play in the lever, especially on the clutch side. and that just aids in wear and tear if you've got a cable-driven clutch, or even a cable-driven brake. If you got like a KLX 110 or something that still uses a drum rotor on the front, that play over time will just do more damage to your clutch. Because it's not braced properly, when you go to pull on the lever and it's supposed to pull the clutch cable, which is disengaging your clutch, it's actually not really putting as much tension on that cable as it should. And so your clutch isn't disengaging all the way. And so over time, you have to make adjustments to the lever to scoot it out further and further to actually get the correct clutch pull. And you're just doing more damage, and it's not actually fixing anything. So pretty cool levers. They are adjustable as well, which is nice. That's on the fly, that you can make little adjustments there. They click into place. Nice audible sound. I really like that. So again, full adjustability. If you've got really, really big hands, you need that lever to scoot out further. This allows that adjustment to happen. If you've got smaller hands, you're finding it more difficult to be able to grab the clutch, grab the brake, then you're able to back that in and it'll scoot that lever closer to the bar, which is pretty cool. So we're going to go ahead and time lapse getting these guys installed, and then I'll show you what it looks like afterwards. All right, guys, first one's installed. Took me a second, and I added some light, which is obviously blinding, but goes on pretty easily. Flexes all the way up, which is cool. Comes all the way out, and then of course in. So a couple things to note. They provide you with a new bolt. Whoop. So just like your old one, slides in the slot, it's going to screw into the bottom part of the clutch reservoir housing, and then it'll kind of bottom itself out just because you're hitting the end of those threads right there. So you just want to make that somewhat snug. You don't want to over tighten this guy at all because it's just hitting right there. You don't want to do damage to your threads. So just get it to where it's snug, and then the bolt underneath of it is what's going to end up keeping it secured in place. The cover that they provide for you goes over the top of the lever itself, and the bolt goes through it. If you forget to put this on and think that it just covers over top, there's a little bit of a gap at the top of this bolt with it exposed. And so that's what you've got that there for. They do provide, let's see if there was a second one in the box, and there isn't. They do provide you with a little collar, which I don't know if you saw in the beginning, but this little collar, it's got a lip to it on the other side, and that lip goes up inside of the hole of the plastic or this rubber type cover. So it goes up, and then this just acts as just a flat washer on the backside that the nut backs up into. But overall, pretty sweet looking. You don't have that kind of bulk plasticky rubber stuff, which I threw over there because it's of no use now. One thing you'll have to kind of check on, you do have less clearance here now because of this pivoting structure that's there and the robustness of the lever. You've got some additional material that sits in here that allows this lever to pivot up and down. So you probably have to make some adjustments here to your clutch to slide that in so that it doesn't come in contact with that. Though there is still plenty of space. I've got plenty of clearance there. It does just bend on that, and of course over time that's just going to wear away. So I'll probably make an adjustment there on the clutch. It does sit a little far out for me anyways. I could scoot that guy over just a little bit just so I've got enough room to be able to kind of put two fingers there in more of the center instead of trying to pull here. Obviously, the closer you are to the pivot point, the more force you're going to have to exert to be able to pull the clutch in. So having something out a little bit further makes it a lot easier. Clearly less arm pump and everything else. Now on to the brake side. Hyperlapse this again, and we'll move on. Oh, one more thing to note. That little copper pin does have a little hole, little groove cut out in it, and you've got another pin mechanism in there that actually pushes the hydraulic plunger in. This pin comes out of your old lever, so you will need to reuse that. You've got the rod there, and then you've also got a spring that sticks out right in here, bink, and it connects itself inside of there. So keep an eye on those two things when you pull off the old lever. You're going to have a spring that sticks out, and you've got this little copper guide that's used for the push rod in there for the clutch master cylinder to the front brake. Sweet. On the brake side, once you've done it once, it's pretty simple. You don't have a little dowel that sits inside of there to worry about. This one's just got a rod, and inside of the brake lever there's just a concaved hole that's kind of burrowed out that guy fits into. A little bit difficult to do it even with just two hands. Putting the cover on and then putting this, you also have a very long spring in here as well. Let's see if you can even see it. No, it sits in behind all this guy. Just keeps tension on this piece here. It's a little bit of a pain to kind of wiggle this through and make sure that spring doesn't get all bound up. You want to make sure that it's nice and straight. Got to put a little bit of force on it. So there, I was just trying to use my left hand to hold it. Right hand, put the cover on and line up the holes and everything. You want to make sure you don't cross thread this bolt down in the bottom when you're installing it. Just a couple things. Take your time. Don't rush the process. Otherwise, you end up missing things and end up doing the job twice, or worse, damaging other components that you hadn't anticipated on replacing. Peek at this guy. Ooh, let's get these bars turned. Much better looking. Yep, quite the garage space. I know. At some point, I'll have a much larger space, but pretty cool on the brake side. Obviously, she functions. Flops all the way out, flops all the way up, which is super nice. They put a little bigger grease in here too from Flo. But probably periodically you'll want to disassemble these guys, re-grease, clean up any dirt and debris that's inside of there just to keep this stuff flowing so nothing's getting all bound up or caught or anything. And then as always with new levers, once you get everything installed, go through and make your adjustments where you need to so that everything feels good, properly installed where it needs to be. Other than that, pretty easy modification compared to a water pump install. Add a little bit of bling to your bike. Flo makes some awesome stuff. I think I'm going to be getting a set of their foot pegs next. Their jet fuel pegs look awesome. I do have a set of Flo black foot pegs. I friggin' love them. They're awesome. They've held up really, really well in some of the enduro stuff that I do. It's awesome. So yeah, that'll probably be the next bling modification. I've got most everything else on this that I want to do, at least for the time being, done, but I'll be adding some other little bling parts here in time. So comment down below if you got something that you think I absolutely am supposed to have on this bike. I don't want to hear the A-kit suspension or anything. I'm not that good of a rider to where I even notice a difference. The stock suspension for me works just fine. I can mess around with my clickers and I'm good for that. I'm not yeeting it off of 65-foot triples or anything crazy. So yeah, but if you know of some install that you've got on your bike, would love to hear about it. Tell me what you guys should think. Tell me what you think I should do next, if I could speak. I think radiator hoses at some point. I'll probably do triple clamps on this thing. Definitely want to deck out the wheels. And I do have a graphics kit that needs to go on this bike that I've had for a couple of months now, and I've just been neglecting putting them on because it's freaking hot in Arizona. I'm supposed to get a massive monsoon tonight and potential thunderstorm and tornado warnings, so we'll see how serious that ends up being. But anyways, as always, appreciate you guys watching. Peace.